New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toretto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl and Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. And it is so nice to have you with us. Welcome here to the program we call Sportsline Trivia. Bob Tatten here tonight. Mike Pavlik, as usual, joins me here in the program. Mike, good to have you aboard.
Nice to be here.
And we have both watched the Penguin playoffs with
trepidation.
Anyway, the Islanders succumbed in 6 games, and we look forward now to the Ottawa series, which is coming up. Would like to talk a little hockey tonight, but then, of course, you can choose any subject you wish, as long as we're talking sports. And we'll have the pleasure of working with you here on the phones. 724, help me out, Mike.
236.
There you go.
0430.
Okay. Welcome to the program again. Let's take a look at the rules and regulations to win on the program. First of all, it's only every other week that you're eligible to win a prize. Every other week. Now, the 2 biggest ones that we've got as far as total prize money goes, or I should say value, are the Mystery Profile and the Grand Salami. You can only win one of those a month, and you can only try the profile once a month. Multiple choice questions, 15 seconds. The Grand Salami at 20, clue by clue for the player profile. First-time callers win 2 or more prizes with a correct answer, and all the answers are on my website, doubledribblebob.com. Go to the website. The answers are there. Daily trivia, plus the fan facts you want to check out. Also, my radio show every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. WAVL, Liberty 910. It's on the AM dial. So, the Penguins now face Ottawa. Going to be a nice, interesting series. The question is Ottawa going to be a little bit tougher to deal with than the Islanders?
I think they're a better team.
All right.
They have a much better goaltender. But then again, there are some Pee-wee teams running around that have a better goaltender than what the Islanders did. But
anyway, folks,
we think Fleury was bad. Oof.
Well, and there's one of the things we'll chat about tonight as well. Some of you folks might want to be with us to talk about what goaltenders we should go with. You want to evaluate some play of some of the hockey players on this team, and it's going to be an interesting evening, so I hope you're going to stay with us. And again, please give us a call, 724-236-0430. Having a problem with that number tonight. I don't know why. Anyway.
It's all that travel, Bob. Bob's on a travel day. This is 2 Mondays in a row Bob's been on a travel day.
Oh, my gosh. So 4 hours on the road on last week and today. Anyway, let's take our first break, and we'll be coming back with you at this location. So stay with us. This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Toretto and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. You know, with Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, there are 3 indoor showrooms, a full-service facility with an experienced staff to handle all your needs. They feature all makes and models, featuring Lexus products as well. Tower Auto Sales, they say, just buy it. Call Mike Fanto. He's in charge, 412-828-6202. Make sure that you stop by and at least get a price on a vehicle. Okay, welcome back here to the program again. It's Sportsline Trivia. I'm Bob Tattern along with Mike Pavlik here tonight. Let's go to the phones, and I believe Tony, first up, our leadoff hitter as usual. Tony, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, Bob, you have a magic marker there?
No, I don't.
Well, get one and just put the phone number on Mike's forehead, and then you can just go look over when you need the number.
There's a little mark over there. I can see the number from here.
I have it written down in a couple of places. I have it in my folder that's right here, and then I have a cheater right here because see this way, as I'm looking at this camera right there, that out of my peripheral, I can read it right here, and you guys don't know that I'm cheating, so that's why I put it right there. I put it on a piece of tape.
Well, you know what? If it's on your forehead, it'll be on the show the whole time, the whole hour.
And then everybody will know to call. I can hold it up.
Yeah.
Tony, here, it's right here.
Okay, guys.
It's right there. There you go.
What would happen if the Penguins would have lost? What do we do next year? Who do we bring in? Do we bring in speed? Do we bring in youth? Do we bring in older guys? What would have happened?
We still might get to answer this question because if they lose this round,
I understand that.
I think a lot of it's going to be the same, don't you? I mean, just winning one round isn't going to cut it anyway. And
no.
And they, the salary cap goes down next year. This is a big thing. We were talking about this a little bit before the show.
And how much? What's the percentage?
The cap goes down, and they really only have. I can check it out. It's a small amount. They had a lot this year of room, and that's why they were able to go out and get people. But they're going to have to, they're going to have to find ways to sign people, and to do that, they may have to get rid of one decently sized contract going into the offseason next year.
My guess.
Who will that be? Could it be a goaltender? Could it be
Malkin?
Could it be any? I mean, any of this is, if they lose, any of it's up in the air.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess not Crosby now. I mean.
No, I don't think that would be the case.
No, I don't think. But
that's Mr.
Malkin,
Franchise.
Yeah, and anybody else, like you said, just.
And they're a defenseman. Letang, you got to look at Malkin and Letang are both going into their option years next year. And these are guys that are going to need to extend those contracts. I mean, Letang's up for the Norris Trophy. We all complain, but he's one of the best 3 defensemen in the league. I mean, as voted by the media. So you look at these things, and there are going to be a lot of decisions whether they win or if they don't win. And we'll have to see what Ray Shero decides to do in the offseason. But he's put together a team here that should do something. And we'll see.
It was expected to do something.
They were exposed that they were slower than let's put it this way. I think that was overblown a little bit, but slower than I thought. Let's go with that. They were slower than I thought, but we'll see. This Ottawa team has a lot of youth up front, and we'll see what they want to bring.
I don't think Ottawa's as fast as the Islanders.
No, they're not. But they saw the tape, and they know pretty much. They know what the Islanders did to frustrate the Penguins. So we'll see.
Right. And like I said, next year is going to be interesting. I think that's why he went out and got all these players this year to try to win it.
Right. I think so too. And they're going to have. This is a different kind of year too with the short season. The older players didn't scare you away as much. Some of those guys did look kind of old in that first series, but I don't. I'm still trying to figure out how much of what happened was the Islanders and how much of what happened was the Penguins, and it was going to happen anyway.
It was probably a combination of both.
A combination of both, which I'm sure it was. And then the other thing was that talking about how tight they were and how tight they were because they hadn't won a series in 3 years. And
yeah.
It's a veteran group that's won a Stanley Cup, a lot of them. You would think that wouldn't be the case. I even noticed it from the coach on down. I mean,
Yeah, it seemed like it, huh?
Bosma's tight.
Yeah,
Now,
it seemed like there was, like a rookie coach, and
Yeah. Now that
don't know.
Well, yeah. Now that they won, will that go away? Now that they won a series, will that go away and they'll be okay? I don't know.
Well, maybe they got rid of their nemesis, the Islanders.
Maybe.
So maybe that'll. I don't know. I hope it takes the pressure off of them and to go out and play hockey like I know they can. But
okay, what are you doing in goal, Tony?
Oh, I'm leaving the same guy in.
Sticking with O'Connor, yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, hey. You know what? You stay with him until he fails.
We're going to ask everyone, but I agree. We talked about this earlier. I think it'll be apparent when it's time to go back to the other guy. It's one of these.
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, if they lose a game 1-0, then you still don't pull him. But if he starts, it reminds me in '91, and this was an injury situation. But Barrasso was out, and Peter Angelo came in,
right,
and things looked bleak. And I remember I got a call from a friend of mine. He was at the Navy at the time, and he was at the game, and he was stationed in Albany, and the Penguins had some guys on a team in Albany, and Bruce Racine was one of these guys who was like their fourth goalie in the system. And I get a call from New Jersey that day. You never guess what, but Bruce Racine's dressed tonight. And it's like, well, that can't be good. Well, then who is it? He goes, Barrasso, of course. So Peter Angelo, basically a game-time decision, went in there and made the greatest, the greatest save in the history of the franchise. He played that game, and people don't remember. He played the 7th game against the Devils and shut them out back in Pittsburgh and won the series.
That's right.
And then played the first 2 games in the Washington series.
Yep.
Before the expiration date finally came. And Barrasso was probably ready to go before then, but they weren't going to, Bob Johnson wasn't going to mess with it. I think we have a similar situation here. You're not going to mess with it right now.
Well, I'm not changing the subject here, but, just like messing with it. The Pirates.
Who?
The Pirates with Martin, the catcher, okay?
Yeah.
He was on a hot streak. The game before he sat him down, he had 2 home runs and a double or something like that.
Sure.
You do not sit a guy down when he's that hot.
Yeah, because then what happens?
He sits him down, and what happens then? He has some neck trouble.
Then he gets hurt, and then going back to Barrasso, I always said that about him. I would have never rested Barrasso because he got hurt so often. So I figured that the time that you had him was so rare that I would just play him until the wheels fell off, because eventually he was going to get hurt anyway, and then the other guy was going to get a chance to play. But
there you go.
You made a great point there, because he was hot. He was player of the week, and then he gets hurt, and now. Who knows?
Well, first he sat him down to give him a rest. You don't do that.
Right.
When the guy's on a hot streak, you wait till he fails, and then you can say, okay, take a day off or so, But that's what I'm talking about, this guy. I mean,
especially when you're hitting.
Yeah, and he was hot, and if we get to the last 2 years we collapsed. If we get into the situation where we're down there where we could win the pennant, or this guy's going to blow it for us. I guarantee he'll blow it for us.
Tony, I can't stand the way he uses his bullpen.
My God. It's unbelievable.
I like him as a manager up until about the 3rd note of the Star-Spangled Banner. And that, and the minute the 3rd out comes of the 9th inning, the 27th out is recorded, then I like him again from that point until they start the next day. But I like what he does off the field. I like what he does in the clubhouse. I like how he keeps the guys together and gets them ready to play. But once that first pitch is thrown, I get nervous.
Tony, by the way, tonight we do not have a closer because for some unknown reason, Grilly is not there tonight.
Who is it?
Jason Grilly.
Because he probably pitched 2 or 3 innings.
No,
personal reasons.
He had to leave for some reason, and they don't know what it was. And they asked Hurdle about it. He said that's not something I could share with you right now. So I don't know if he had something happening with his family. He was on the field playing catch somewhere else. He was on the field playing catch with his little boy before the game. So goodness knows what might have happened. But,
I hope nothing happened. Serious.
Who hasn't been called out of work? So that
Yeah.
That's probably.
Like I said, he said, he can't pitch because he pitched 3 or 4 innings. What the hell? That is nothing. All these pitchers are long gone, but the guys used to pitch a doubleheader. I bet they're up there laughing. Can't believe what they're looking at. Baseball is not a game that I recognize anymore. I'll tell you the truth.
Well, here's the thing. They were talking about that they're worried that Hurdle is going to kill Justin Wilson, okay? He threw, and right around the time they said that, it's May the whatever, he's thrown 16 innings. It's like, his arm's going to fall off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, poor guy.
Tony, let's get to some trivia.
All right. Let's go with the Salam,
Okay.
and let's go with number 3.
Let me,
Well, I think
let me-
you want to grab this one because I've
Yeah.
been bad luck.
Okay. He has been. And if you've seen this one before, I don't think so. Every week we come on and we kind of rehearse these among ourselves. But here we go, Tony. You ready?
Oh, I hope so.
All right. What Pro Football Hall of Famer has or had a son that played in Super Bowls 34 and 37?
What Hall of Fame football player had a son?
Right, who also played in Super Bowls 34 and 37.
Wow. I have no idea, but let me take a guess. Wow, Hall of Famer. How about, I don't know, Don Hudson?
No. How about Pittsburgh's own Tony Dorsett?
Oh, that's right, yeah, his son.
His son Tony Jr. played, I think, was it with
Played
one?
for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, okay.
At least one, and once with the Oakland Raiders. Hey, Tony, I have some more news for you. Nick Leyva also is going to miss a couple games due to a family matter. I know that'll make you happy, actually. So he won't be there. Rick Sofield's going to coach some third base the next couple of days.
All right, Tony.
That's great. But nothing happens to the head coach. He doesn't have no family crisis,
Exactly.
so he can leave.
Well, you know, I used to say it about Cordell Stewart, annoyingly durable.
Yeah.
Never got hurt.
All right, Tony, thank you.
All right, guys, have a great
All
one.
right.
Thanks, Tom.
I was going to ask one of our guys in the studio audience to come up. You know what? We're too close to the break. So.
Okay.
Guys, let's do that next. We'll do the break, we'll come back, and then we're going to talk some hockey with John, who's in the studio tonight. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from 2 locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square. You know, everything on Mattio's menu is made with quality ingredients. Hand-tossed pizzas, gyro sandwiches, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and lots more. Mattio's Pizza has it all, including their signature Iron Man hoagie. I think John's tried one, haven't you, John? Have you? Anyway, Mattio's, located 1000 Broadview Boulevard, Brackenridge Heights. You can give them a call at 724-904-7312. They have a pretty good staff up there, too. They take care of their people. We're going to jump real quick to Mark, who's at work and on a break. So, Mark, we were going to go with John, but we're going to switch over now to you. Welcome to the program. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for putting me on.
Hey, Mark.
Was there any more news on Leechburg going to that Heritage Conference?
Still in the works, not final yet from what I understand. I'll tell you what, I would love to get, and I know school's about to run out here and we're going to miss this, maybe early next in the next school year. Maybe we can get somebody to come over because they're it's literally right across the street from us. To get somebody to come over. It's still in the works, and I understand that there was at the next school board meeting, or one that has just recently taken place, and I'm not sure, that a group of parents was going to go, voicing concerns about it, and hope to head it off if they can, and we'll see where it goes there. But they have their reasons, and
I can respect both positions.
I do too. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I haven't walked a mile in their shoes, as you would say.
Right.
And so we'll, they have a long and glorious history in the WPIAL. I will say that they're the last AK Valley team to win a WPIAL championship in basketball. I mean, you think about them; it wasn't that long ago, and so
and their girls' teams do pretty well too at times. I mean,
it's in and out, but it's in and out everywhere. It's not as if there are schools that are a lot bigger in size and a lot bigger in enrollment that that also struggle from time to time, or even on a consistent basis. I mean, look at Springdale.
Look at Highlands in football. A couple of years ago, they went 0-10.
And up and down, and they went 10-0 one year and 0-10 the next. I saw all 20 of them, but I just wonder, and when we've talked about this before, I just wonder if they pull the trigger on this and they do this, if there won't be some buyer's remorse. And then the thing I don't know is how hard is it to get back into the WPIAL if you burn a bridge or two. And another thing, I really think that the thing that tipped this was them getting slapped on the wrist for playing the basketball game against whatever school that was, a school that wasn't sanctioned by the WPIAL. They got slapped down. They were made to forfeit that game, and I really think that's what tipped the boat over.
Well, what's the main stumbling ground? Is it the traveling distance they're talking about?
It is. It's a great distance to travel. Some of these schools take practically an hour to get there.
Some of the sections and conferences and whatnot that they've been put in, but as Bob said, you're going to have Marion Center and places like this that you're going to have some hauls from here to get to there on those winter nights. And remember, it's all sports. It's not just football. It's not just basketball. You talk about all sports, and you're going to have to be making these trips in the wintertime. And I think that's maybe some of the concerns that the parents have that are against the move. But we'll see what happens.
Okay, and one more thing. I think, was that Bob's cousin Rick that was write-up in the paper a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that was a nice article.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I guess I better go for multiple choice then.
All right, Michael.
Let's do it, Mark. Let's get you one here. This is a baseball. Who was baseball's first $1 million a year player? Was it Dave Parker, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, or Reggie Jackson? Baseball's first $1 million a year player. Dave Parker, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, Reggie Jackson.
I think it was Dave Parker.
I think you're 100% right, Mark.
Oh,
with
great.
The Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, when he wasn't with Pittsburgh, you know?
No, that was the contract that he had signed with Cincinnati with Marge Schott, and she had a derogatory thing or two to say about him.
Her part with $1 million.
Yes, started with $1 million, and this is a family show.
Well, you guys have a good night. I appreciate you getting me in.
Hey, Mark, no problem.
Okay,
we appreciate it. Thank you. We
Thank you
appreciate
for
you
the phone
taking
call.
the time. Yeah.
Okay, let's jump to the studio audience here tonight. And John, did you change uniform numbers or what?
Oh, I've always been 53. It's the flip
Okay.
of Tom Barrasso. I was the only kid in YMCA youth soccer saying Barrasso says no in the net. So
You were a Barrasso fan then?
oh, I loved him.
See, that of course, because why
I
wouldn't
never
you?
knew the person.
Except you didn't know the other stuff.
Was he, by the way, no, it was Andy Brown. Andy Brown was the last goaltender not to wear a face mask. And I'm looking at some of these shots
I'm so old, I
that
remember
have
this.
bounced off. I mean, in witnessing the last couple of Penguin games,
And they wore the blue.
and they had shots that have come off, the Adam's apple for that protector.
There was also it was a different game then. That was really the end. The end was when Bobby Hull started the slap shot, and he was shooting them at 125 miles per hour.
And he put the banana blade, and they didn't carve those sticks very much. If you take a look now, and I have a question for you too. You brought that up now, but the blade that Sid has is basically what everybody's blade was back then. Sid doesn't have hardly any curve on his stick at all. And that was basically what it was, and you didn't get those high rising wristers or slap shots that Bobby Hall could generate. When was the last time you saw anybody challenge the curve of a stick blade?
Last one that mattered, 1993 Stanley Cup playoffs
It's
when
Marty
McSorley.
Hasn't it been a day or two since you've seen this happen? Nobody does it anymore.
Did they put a dime, in other words, the curve of the stick,
Has
and
to
if a
be.
dime,
It's
if
an
the
inch and a
dime
half.
doesn't rate, what, an inch and a half?
No, it's down to an inch. They reduced it. It's an inch.
They cut it.
If you set the curve down flat on a thing, it can be no higher than an inch.
Well, then it's got to be a quarter, not a dime.
It must be a quarter.
Okay, then my
All right, so they put a coin, and if the stick rocks, the stick's no good.
Right. Well, I mean, they have a much more high-tech thing that's
And-
cut out with sheet metal, but it's essentially the same.
And then we can also agree that obviously no one's playing with an illegal stick, right?
No.
Exactly. And I don't get, the one I remember, this is a beauty. Pierre Maguire, who is completely overexposed, I think we may all be able to agree with that, was the head coach of the Hartford Whalers, and when he had taken over halfway through a season, I can't remember who the coach was, but Paul Holmgren was the GM. I do remember that. Anyway, he took over halfway through the season, and he had been here. He was an assistant for Scotty Bowman for those couple of years. And he knew what was going on. And the Penguins are playing in Hartford. It's very late in the game. And he challenges Yager's stick, because he knows very well that Yager's playing with an illegal stick.
I remember.
So they challenge the stick, and they find out that it is illegal, and Yager gets a 2-minute penalty. The game is tied, and the Whalers have a power play for the last minute and a half of regulation, which would carry over for the first 30 seconds of the overtime. Well, penalty was called. Yager goes in the box, and they hand him back the same stick. He's in the penalty box. The Whalers don't score. They go through to the first 30 seconds of overtime. They don't score. And guess who comes out of the penalty box and grabs a breakaway? As they pass it up to Yager, he grabs the puck, gets on a breakaway, and scores the game-winning goal in overtime. Skates past the Whalers bench, says something to McGuire, and that was the end of that. It was the funniest thing ever. It's like he challenged him, and then he still scored with the same stick. He scored the goal with the same stick. They didn't change the stick. We won the game with an illegal stick. Game over. Good night. Drive home safe.
They probably should have challenged it, but that probably wasn't in place then.
Yeah.
Either way, the point why I wanted to come up here earlier is because is there no pleasing the Pittsburgh sports media? We have the greatest team ever assembled here as the Penguins. I mean, I've looked at that 92-93 roster many times, and there's a lot of similarities. It's Crosby and Malkin. We bring in Jerome McGinley. Jerome McGinley. You know how many times I've looked at this guy and been like, oh my God, can you imagine? I never imagined him in a Penguins uniform. Instantly, top 10 Penguins player to ever don the uniform. As soon as he donned the uniform. I mean, you could argue top 5, but I really think he's there in the 6th spot. Ron Francis and Kevin Stevens.
It would be like the Pirates in 1979 when they were driving for the pennant, getting Tom Seaver off the Mets and putting him in their pitching staff. It's the greatest Flame of all time, the greatest Met of all time. It would be like grabbing the greatest guy in a franchise's history and putting it on this team is what he is.
Yeah, and we're still not happy. And okay, I realize Fleury is not the most consistent goaltender in the world, believe me, but look at how many goalie prospects we've destroyed. From J.S. Aubin, Sebastian Caron, and all of these guys.
And guys have gone on to have decent careers.
Yeah, and I mean, some of them, yes.
Not
some
here.
of them kind of laughable.
Not here. But Patrick Lalime. He played very well in Ottawa after he left.
But I mean, all of these guys have. I mean, look at their goaltending coach, Gilles Malache, the former Cleveland Baron and California Golden Seal. How many guys can say that?
Gilles Malache gave up the most goals in NHL history.
He still holds that record.
He does.
And
Isn't that
he's
awesome?
our goalie coach. What do we expect? I mean, come on, guys. We have destroyed. If Fleury played on any other team, instant first ballot Hall of Famer. Here, he's good enough.
He's good. Well, and he's good. It's the way they play is why. It reminds me of Grant Fuhr. Grant Fuhr probably in the same situation.
Yeah.
If you would have put him with Jacques Lemaire in New Jersey, he would have had the same kind of numbers that Brodeur had. But he in Edmonton needed to be good enough because of the way they play. They weren't going to rein those guys in. The same thing here. They were able to do it for a while with Terrien, which, frankly, a lot of what Terrien taught them is why they won the first cup.
Oh, absolutely.
But and the further away they get, the worse defensively they are. And
well, I mean, because the yacht club mentality is coming back.
Oh, the country club is back, and that's what happens, and that's what they are. But yeah, you're right. But the point is, John, you will admit they played lousy. And
yeah,
they played
They
played 2 good games, which were really good games, and they played 4 lousy games, but they won 4 games. So I can't say anything about it until I see what happens next.
That, and think of the Islanders' history. They're the team that came back from 3-0 to beat us in 74.
As I said, there were a lot of...
They crushed our hopes in 82. They crushed our hopes in 93 when we won a President's Trophy. History did not bode well. I picked in 6 games, and I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I picked the Islanders in 7, actually, but that because of the history. Because of the history, because believe me, we've seen, people don't remember that, but in 82, the Islanders were in the middle of winning 4 Stanley Cups in a row, and a Penguin team that went into the playoffs 7 games under 500, nearly beat them, and had them beaten 3-1 with 8.5 minutes to go, and a puck bounces over Randy Carlisle's stick, and I don't want to get into it. But it could have and should have happened. Very similar to what we just saw, by the way. And that's why I didn't want to get to a 7th game, because you can't, and you know the Penguins, they're 2-6 at home on home ice in 7th games. The Penguins have never won a 7th game at home when they lost the 6th game on the road, ever.
The Islanders are a scary team. We should have a much bigger rivalry with these guys, especially in the playoffs.
Especially now that they're going to get good.
Yeah,
and
they're
they
a
are
fast team with a good goal.
They're going to be good.
What do you expect?
And well coached, I think. I was very impressed by Jack Capuano through that series. He said all the right things and did all the right things, and they're you can't. They remind me of and they're about to move into a nice building, and they remind me of the Nordique / Avalanche right at about that same time. In the first year that they went to Colorado, they won the Stanley Cup because they were so lousy in Quebec all those years and all those draft picks year after year, and one really good trade year after year after year, and they put them in place. And I think the league would like them in Brooklyn next year. They want them in Brooklyn this coming season because that place is a dump out there, and there's nothing there with them. I've never been there, but so we'll see. But they're good, and I think they're coming. They just weren't ready yet.
Absolutely. They're a young team. They'll get there. But my point is, sometimes we just have to be happy. There will always be gaps. You can look back at the teams where there have been, 6 starting Hall of Famers on the ice, like the 50s Canadiens, and you go, oh, that guy was, or who was that guy, or that guy wasn't that good. But we're going to look back on this team and go, wow, what a powerhouse.
Yeah,
2 captains from other teams?
Let's hope it happens, John. No, I was going to say you're not eligible for the prize this week, so you were on the phone last week when you won, so enjoy the prize when you get it.
I will bow out and just be happy, guys. It's okay.
Don't worry, be happy. Thanks,
Keep calm
John.
and Pittsburgh on.
Did you calm me? You succeeded in calming me down a little. I was just nervous last Saturday. That's all. I was very nervous. I was
Against
glad
the Islanders, you should be.
Exactly.
Next time,
that was the whole point, and there is something to be said about history. There's no doubt about that.
John, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay, let's jump to Chris on the phone. Chris, thanks for tuning in tonight, and welcome to the program.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Mike. How you guys doing?
Good, Chris. Right. How are you?
I truly enjoyed that game Saturday night with the New York Islanders. I mean, especially when it went into overtime like that. That was really something. It took 15 minutes past the end of the game to get into it, but we achieved something.
We had 2 overtime games out of 6.
You really enjoyed it. I thought it was torture.
I enjoyed it because, it was a challenge. It was something that looked forward to.
Well, they're always a challenge, Chris.
And and the thing about it is that it's really hard to predict who's going to score the winning goal.
I have a feeling we're going to do good against Ottawa, too. I'd like to see us play Detroit. That's one. I'd like to see us against Detroit.
Who saw them sliding through? I watched that last night. They put a couple of old guys and a whole bunch of new young guys, and they're a scary group, that Detroit team.
I love that Detroit team. That was really good last night. I hope to see us play Detroit.
Not again. Don't do that to me again. Jeez.
Why would you? I certainly enjoy it.
Well, the thing is, everybody that's left over there, with the exception of San Jose, has actually won a cup recently.
Well, Blackhawks, Detroit, San Jose, and the Kings.
Yeah,
and,
everybody's
that's
won.
It. Yep.
My second question is there anybody that has never won a Stanley Cup at all?
Well, there are a lot of teams that have never won a Stanley Cup at all. You got to remember, they've expanded a lot recently in teams like Florida and Florida, Nashville, San Jose. Vancouver's been in the league for many, many years and never won a Stanley Cup.
I was kind of hoping Anaheim
Okay, let's jump to baseball.
Buffalo's never
Let's go there. Is there anybody that's never won anything or had it in contention as far as baseball's concerned that they've never seen a playoff or never seen a championship?
Well, yeah,
quite a few baseball.
Sure, baseball.
The ones that have been the most recent since my existence in time. You know what I'm saying, but I'm talking about I'm not talking about these new teams. I'm talking about the
the
when they
teams
had
that have
older
been
teams.
the teams
Established,
I think just about everyone's won once. I mean,
including the St. Louis Browns.
including the St. Louis Browns, who did. Well,
In
they won a
wartime.
pennant. Yeah,
In wartime.
they won a pennant, but they never won the World Series. They went on to become the Baltimore Orioles. But you go back to earlier expansion. The first expansion was in the '60s, and the Mets came along with the Angels, and they both won. So Marlins have won, Diamondbacks have won. So just about everybody's been in on it. You go back to like Cleveland hasn't won since 1948. I mean, you go back to find the teams that it's been a long time, but the Cubs since the aughts, '08, isn't that what it is?
I have a funny feeling we're going to blow out the Detroit Tigers when Detroit gets it with Jim Leyland again. I have a feeling we're going to do some real better with them
Interesting
too.
series this year because they're going to play 2 away and then 2 at home back to back.
Yeah.
Memorial Day and the day after at Detroit, and then the next 2 games after that are in Pittsburgh.
That's going to be really interesting. That's why I brought that up, because I didn't see that.
All right. Chris, are you eligible this week?
Yes, I am eligible this week.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Multiple choice, please.
All right. Is it my turn, Mike?
It is, sir.
Okay. All right, Chris. You got number 4 in rotation, so we'll take a look at the question. Here we go. Who is the absolute only pitcher to lead his league with the lowest ERA pitching for a last-place team? Okay, you got the question?
I think so. Give it a try.
Okay, your possibilities are Bob Turley, Bob Friend, Robin Roberts, and Firpo Marbury.
I'm going to go with Firpo Marbury.
Chris, it turns out that Bob Friend did it for the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the 50s, and he had quite a season. I forget what the ERA was, but he did have quite a season. So Bob Friend's the answer. Chris, thanks for the try anyway. Appreciate your call.
Talk to you guys later.
Okay,
Thanks, Chris.
let's
Bye.
take a break. We're a couple of minutes late for that, so Mike and I will return. In the meantime, the phone number 724-236-0430. Back in a flash.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services. Putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My First Book on Sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough. With Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, you have the best products, the best selection, the best customer communication, and best service after the sale. That's Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox on Route 28. Just buy it is their slogan. Call Mike Fanto, 412-828-6202. Don't forget my radio show Saturday mornings on WAVL. They're 9:10 on the AM dial, all on sports history and sports nostalgia. Got a lot of fun doing the program. Hope you have an opportunity to listen Saturday morning. It's on the AM dial, 10 o'clock, 9:10 on the dial. I don't know who's on the phone, but let's give them a shot. Welcome. Hello.
Hi, guys. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Terry. Good.
Hi, Terry.
Oh, pretty good recognition there. Hey, let's start off with a couple of trivia questions for you. This first one's really easy. Let's see if you can grab this one. Casey Stengel once said about this guy who had won 3 MVPs that if he ever fell into a sewer, he'd come out with a gold watch.
He could, and he managed the guy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd say Yogi.
That's exactly right, Yogi Berra. Now that you're warmed up, I think this one's a little more challenging.
Okay, this one's for Bob.
Okay, there you go. Only one guy in the history of baseball got his 3,000th major league hit as a pinch hitter.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh, Bob's writing this one down.
And I'll give you a clue. It happened today in 1958.
1958.
Mm-hmm.
As a pinch hitter. That really narrows it down.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And by then...
Is he in the Hall of Fame? Can you give me a clue?
That's obvious. That's a yes.
Sure, he's in the Hall of Fame.
All right, that's what I figured.
It could be Musial.
It's exactly right. Dan
big
Musial.
darn. 3,000th hit.
Yeah, as a pinch hitter. I don't know if they were giving him the day off, and then he came in and got this hit.
What we need to do, we need to
he
find
said
out...
1958?
1958, we need to find out who he pinch hit for. Because that's a great question there, too. Obviously, the pitcher, I would assume.
That's probably a good guess, or some
why the heck
weak
wasn't he
hitting
playing?
shortstop or something,
Yeah,
perhaps.
Well, he probably had a day
You know who
off.
he was hitting for? Clint Barnabas. That's exactly who he was hitting for.
No, it's his grandfather.
I think Clint Barnabas was playing in 1958.
So, okay, here's one, Mike, that I think you'll enjoy knowing. You know, the Yankees split a doubleheader with the Indians today.
We
The
were
Indians
we were
won
listening here on
1-0.
set
I
before
think
we
they
went
got 4 hits or 5 hits, and then they lost 7-0. I think they got about 2 or 3 hits. But at any rate, the Yankees are in first place, and they have almost $100 million worth of salaries on the disabled list.
Yes. And some tens of millions of dollars that they'd like to be rid of forever.
Yeah, maybe.
Lyle Overbay's doing well. And it was funny because when we said it was a split, I told Bob, I said, this is good because I like both teams, and I was glad that the Indians got one of them.
Yeah.
So, because I want to keep them going because they're on a nice little streak. But, yeah, because they would like A-Rod never to come back. I'm sure they would like Euclid. But I'll tell you what, that lineup they had in the first game, I was listening to a little bit of it. I don't know who half these guys were. I actually had to look them up. It's good for them that they wouldn't have to go through the whole season with these guys because eventually it would fall off. But, you know, they're going to have some decisions to make. I guess they're going to send Bosch down and bring up, or they already did, for an extra pitcher in the second game. And then Granderson's going to be back, so that's the first guy back. Granderson will be back tomorrow when they get back home.
Well, you know, they've got that goofy role now that on a doubleheader you can carry 26 guys. And so the Indians brought up a pitcher, and he started the second game, Bauer.
Right, and
the Yankees brought up an infielder.
And he played both games. He played first base the first game and second base the second game because they DH Cano the second game.
Yeah, number 61. I don't remember his name. So, anyways, speaking of the Indians, I think they've really gotten lucky, and it's too bad they didn't sign him to a multi-year contract with this Mark Reynolds guy they picked up from Baltimore as a free agent. He's tied for the league leading home runs, and they got him, I think, primarily thinking about a first baseman, but then they decided they'd make him a DH once they got Swisher and Stubbs.
Right.
And now he's their starting third baseman. So
he's the modern-day Dave Kingman, Terry. It's either a strikeout or a home run. The modern-day Dave Kingman without the attitude. He seems to be an okay teammate, and guys seem to like him. So.
Yeah, and he can catch ground balls.
He's not bad. I'll tell you what. He turned into a half-decent first baseman last year with the Orioles, and you know, there was some talk that a lot of people that around the Orioles were surprised that they didn't try to keep him, but they're still doing well anyway. I think Buck's got it figured out there, and they got a good thing going. But the guy hits home runs, and if you look the other way with the strikeouts, which doesn't seem to be much of a problem anymore. I mean, the striking out used to be a terrible thing, but teams just don't seem to care anymore.
Yeah, well, I'd rather see them strike out than hit into double plays, but of course the other side of the coin is that you're not going to see people make errors when you strike out. You're not going to see balls just hit a pebble and bounce funny when you strike out and go through into the outfield. And
can't move a runner over with an out or anything like that. There are a lot of sometimes a strikeout's not completely horrible, But there are times that you want to put the ball in play, and a lot
Exactly,
of these guys don't.
yeah,
We
yeah.
see it with Pedro every day, we know.
Yep, a guy on third base and one out or no outs, and
Put it
you're
in
not going
play.
to score him on a strikeout, but
Well, there
if
was
ground
one-
ball to second or something, you might.
We were watching the Giants game the other day, and Buster Posey is just as close to a perfect baseball player as you could find. And they had first and third with one out, and he did the exact thing that you should do, which is lift the fly ball to the right side, to right field. And not only did he lift it to right field, he hit it over the right fielder's head and ended up with a triple and 2 RBIs. Tried to hit a sacrifice fly, ended up hitting a triple, knocked 2 runs in. You know, the fundamentals of the game. Now, he's super talented and is one of the best players in baseball, but you get my point. A lot of these guys, you wonder if they know what they're supposed to do when they go up there.
Terry, you ready for
That's
some
exactly
trivia?
right.
You ready for some trivia?
Yeah, sure.
All right, the only reason I'm rushing you along, boy, I hate to do this. I've got Paul to get up here yet, and we have do we have 2 other people on the phones? Oh, just one, okay. No, we're good. What do you want to do?
Is the mystery profile open?
It is.
All right, let's try that.
Mike, is it your turn or mine?
is.
It is. Mike will have it for
His
you.
name down. Mystery profile, of course, Mattio's Pizza and Subs on Broadview Boulevard in Brackenridge. And you will not leave hungry, I promise.
You won't be able to leave. I've had their
You
stuff.
won't- They do have a crane that will pick you up
Yeah.
out of the chair to get you out of the building.
Put you in a flatbed truck.
They do, and they will get you out of there. So that's, but it is great, and you can try the Ironman. Okay, Terry, here we go. Mystery profile for tonight. Here is your $100 clue. In 1990, I hit a pinch hit home run, the first by a pitcher since 1971.
CC Sabathia.
That is not correct. He'll be pitching tomorrow, by the way. Okay. Now your $75 clue. I won 3 Silver Slugger Awards as a pitcher. So we've established this guy could hit.
Yes. And he's a National Leaguer. 3 Silver Slugger Awards in the 1990s. One of the starting pitchers from Atlanta, and I can never remember those guys' names back then. The guy from Atlanta whose brother pitched for the Cubs, I can't think of his name.
I'll help you out. You're thinking of Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
figured not, but
Okay, here we go. Clue number 3, the $50 clue. I gave up Mike Schmidt's 500th career home run.
boy, that sounds familiar, like Donnie Robinson.
It sure does. I was in attendance.
All right, let me. All right,
I was there.
You got $50 in prizes coming, but let me give you an add-on here.
Oh,
Let's see how good. I'm trying to. Let me cherry pick. I got a little information on the guy who hit the pitch hit home run in 1971. It turns out that he holds the career record among all pitchers who have hit home runs as a pinch hitter. This guy has 4. Would you happen to know who he is for $25 cash?
ooh.
A cash prize.
Is that like hardcore American cash you're talking?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I don't know. Tony Cloninger.
No, let me get down.
I like that.
How about $10 cash if I told you he's from Grove City?
9 down, 1 to go, Mr.
Wow. Gary Peters.
Yes.
You're kidding.
How about that?
I can't believe the guy ever hit 1, let alone owns the record.
Yeah, he had 4.
Jeez, and that was
4,
back in the days of, like, shortly after Nellie Fox's prime, wasn't it?
He was with the yeah, he pitched, what
Yeah.
did you say, White Sox?
White
or Red
Sox and Red Sox.
I remember
yeah.
him with Boston.
I think he ended in the early 60s.
It's like, I have Gary, no, he went into the 70s. I have Gary
You think?
Peters' baseball card.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure.
Boy, okay. Hey,
I'll
we
look
got to
him
run.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Terry, congrats to
Terry.
you. You've got $50 in prizes and $10 cash.
Boy, you can't beat that. Thanks very much.
All right, Terry. In the meantime, final break. We've got one call and Paul coming up right after this.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380 Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380 Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Okay, we're back. We got to split up time here, maybe
How are we doing?
3.5 to 4 minutes each. We've got Paul here, and then we're going to take one more
Flies
call.
by, doesn't it? Jeez.
When you're having fun.
Absolutely.
Paul, welcome to the show, and
Thanks.
what's on your mind?
This show should be 2 hours long instead. Anyway, I think quickly the Kentucky Derby winner will win this week.
I'm for that.
And
John knows everything there is to know about horse racing now.
And then I had a question. In '82, was Greg Millen the backup goaltender? Is that why Michel Dion was in goal game 5?
Greg Millen in 1981, the year the Penguins lost to St. Louis.
He was dancing.
He was the dancing netminder in nets for the Penguins. He played a great series, stood on his head. The Blues won in 5 in overtime. It became a trend, you see. In the last game, Mike Crombeen scored the game-winning goal on Greg Millen in the second overtime. Greg Millen luckily parlayed that into a free agent contract with the Hartford Whalers. He left. The Penguins signed Michel Dion, and that's why Michel Dion was playing for the Penguins. And Michel Dion played so well, he actually started the All-Star game that year.
Yes,
there was no fluke on how Michel Dion was in 1981-82 for the Penguins.
Good old days.
The good old days with that great mask he had too. He had 1 year really, and that was it.
Right. And other than that, I think the Pirates they won't have any collapse. They'll be consistent.
Well, the question is, how high are they going to get? I'll take a consistent year.
They're 5 games over 500 right now, but they're playing Milwaukee,
who stink, by the way. They've lost
Why
4 in a row.
can't we beat this team?
We're terrible against them, even when they're terrible, and they're terrible right now. Braun's not in the lineup tonight. They set Ricky Weeks, which means that's 4 less strikeouts AJ will get. But, geez, it's time they do something with these guys. And here's the thing. The moon and the stars and everything have to match up perfectly. Like in the middle of May, it can be snowing like it was today in many areas around.
And
frost. They bring the plants in tonight, by the way, if you're watching this on a Monday on streaming. With all the lines, Pirates at home versus the Brewers, Pedro Alvarez sometimes can all line up beautifully for home runs. So I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
All right.
That this could be a night that Pedro may take care of the Marco Estrada.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Paul, thanks. You're not eligible this week,
Right,
so.
very good.
Thanks,
All
Paulie.
right.
Enjoy both game 7.
And we
I'll
have
be
2
watching.
game 7s.
I'll be watching
Rangers and
both.
Caps and Bruins and
So
Toronto.
good old John out there. Be rooting for the Bruins.
Whatever happens, happens.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
All right, final call. We go to the limo man. Bruce, good evening.
How are you, Robert? I got a new person watching you on DoubleDribbleBob.com.
Okay, who'd that be?
Pat Ketty at Ketty Chevrolet in Vancouver.
There we go.
Okay.
How about that?
Good.
And did you hear about Joe Hanrahan? He won't be pitching for 6 to 9 months.
Yes, he's going to have surgery on his elbow. It is not Tommy John surgery, from what I understand. I understand that the ligament just needs to be repaired. And like you said, Limo, 6 to 9 months, he will be out. And, which is very interesting, this is his free agent year. The Pirates traded him at exactly the right time.
Yeah.
Luck.
Dr. Andrews is
That
going
was
to
a luck.
operate.
Dr. Andrews is a busy man, is he not?
Yes, he is. As busy as Robert Tattern.
No.
Isn't he the one that gets phone calls from everywhere?
Everywhere.
Is he
He was big time this year on the sidelines with the Redskins. He's the Redskins team doctor, and with all the controversy with Robert Griffin in the playoffs and whether he should be out there. And
I
Dr.
got to
Andrews,
get Dr.
Interesting
Andrews
article about
to
him.
do doubledribblebob.com.
How about that?
I'm going to have to call him up.
there you go.
All right.
You see about Allegheny Kiski Valley Sports Hall of Fame.
He would have
The inductees are in there.
in the
John
newspaper.
Kappa, Ed Lynch Jr., Mark McLeod, Carol Perez,
Perot.
Paul Sturga,
That's posthumous.
Rick Tattern's in there,
He is.
David Thompson, and
Al Euskaritis.
yeah.
Bob's got the
Tickets are $25.
Bruce, I'm the chairman of the Hall of Fame.
Well, I didn't know. How would I know?
Well, why don't you attend one of them once in a
How
while?
long have you been doing that?
1 year.
1 year?
No, as chairman.
Yeah,
But I was there at the start.
But you were, how long? How many years?
1970.
We got to put your name over at the McDonald's in Lower Burrell.
44, I think.
Yeah, that
44.
is amazing.
I've been on the committee for 44 years, Bruce.
Wow. You're getting better with age. You're better than Tony Mowat.
Well,
It makes sense because you've pretty much seen it all around here, so it just takes, you know.
And George Banky died, Baldwin High School basketball coach.
I did not hear that.
Yes.
Well, he goes
I'm
back a
going
ways,
to do
too.
the mystery profile.
We've done, Bruce, we've already done the mystery profile.
Well, then how about,
We have salamis,
no,
and we have multiple choice.
multiple choice.
Multiple choice. Bob, I believe you're up.
Okay. All right, your choice of 4 for this question, number 5 in rotation. Name the first NBA player in history to miss 5,000 free throws. And your options are Rick Barry, Bill Laimbeer, Shaq O'Neal, and Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain.
You're right.
Hey, way to go, Lima.
He is the guy, and
I was going to say you were prejudiced against big men.
let me tell you what happened to, and we have about a minute to spend here on just a little follow-up, but Chamberlain, as you know, was such a terrible foul shooter, and somebody had approached him to, I'm trying to remember if it was a boxing, I think it was a boxing match they wanted him to get into, and they were going to fight somewhere in Houston. And they couldn't get together on a price, for Ali to be satisfied, or I'm sorry, Wilt Chamberlain to be satisfied. And I think he was going to fight Muhammad Ali. Anyway, he said to his dad, "What do you think of the idea?" And he shook his head and he said, "Wilt, get a basketball, go down to the gym, and practice your foul shooting." That was it.
Oh, the funny part was, hey, the game he had 100 points,
Yeah.
he made a bunch of foul shots that
I'll
night.
be darned. That was in Hershey, PA.
Uh-huh.
Bruce, thanks for the call. We got to go.
All right, Robert. And there's a long drive in deep right center field, and this ball is for Pat Teddy at Teddy Chevrolet.
All right. Back next week, folks, at the same time. I'm Bob Tattern.
I'm Mike Pavlik.
So long, everybody.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Rusevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.